Libby. This is my baby that I was pregnant with when I was 15. And she's just so pretty, and she just looks so messy right now, huh? You just look so messy because all you do is eat snacks all day long. Hey guys, and welcome back. 2 new videos. For today's video, if you guys can't tell by the title, it's going to be about my 15 and pregnant story. This is a story that I have talked about on my channel before, but I just didn't like how the video came to be, and I would like to be able to redo it and to be able to show you guys a better perspective and just better detailed version of this. I will try to insert pictures along the way because I know I do have a lot of pictures from my pregnancy, but yeah, let's get into it. If you are watching this video to try to figure out a way to tell your parents, my best piece of advice would be to just wait it out and just really wait until you're ready. We waited a total of 2 weeks. Fortunate enough to have my husband with me, and you know, we were together, we were dealing with this together, so we knew that I was pregnant for about 2.5 weeks before we told either one of our parents. And then it came time to tell our parents. So my husband told his parents first, actually, and he told them without telling me, and I think it was really his way of just pushing me to tell my parents, because he knew that if he just kept putting off telling his parents, that I was going to put off telling my parents. So he finally told them, and I didn't find this out until after he told me that he told them. But I guess the way he told them was he asked his mom to go on a drive, and it was just him and his mom. He's really close to his mom, so he asked her if they could go on a drive and just get some air. And so yeah, they went on a drive, and he told his mom then that I was pregnant, and his mom told them that it was okay and that she was disappointed, but that it was going to be okay and that we're all going to deal with this together. And his mom was actually a teen mom also, so she knew what was going on, and she didn't want to stress us out any more than we had to be. So she was really helpful about that, and she pretty much just told them, we're gonna go, we're gonna drive back home, and you're gonna tell your dad, and that's it. And I found this out afterwards, but I guess when he told my father-in-law that I was pregnant, my father-in-law was in the living room, and he just like flopped on the couch because he was like shook. But yeah, I guess that's what happened. But yeah, and I chose to tell my mom also. So I went into my mom's room, and I remember like shutting the door behind me and like slowly getting onto the bed with her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I just started talking to her, and I was telling her, I was like, "Mom, I have something to tell you." And my mom right away was like, "You're pregnant." And I was like, "How do you know?" And she was like, "You are?" And so yeah, I had to tell her. I was like, "Yeah, I am." I was like, "How did you know?" She's like, "I don't know, I just kind of had a feeling, and you know, I knew you and Dan were gonna start doing stuff, and that's gross, and I'm not gonna go too much into detail about that." But yeah, she pretty much just told me that she knew that we were gonna do stuff, and she kind of had a feeling. So yeah, that's how I told her. And I remember she was very calm about it, honestly. Like, I know she was sad and disappointed, and that makes me sad to think about now that I'm a mom and I understand what she could have possibly been going through. I understand like why she was sad and disappointed, but she didn't let it show, and all she told me was, "You need to go to the doctor." And so she asked my sister to find me a doctor, and that is how my sister found out. And my sister didn't take it very lightly. My sister was always taking care of me. She was like a second mom, and I love my sister, and she's very overprotective, especially when I was younger. So to me, like, I can tell that she was more disappointed in me than my mom was disappointed in me, and that kind of like crushed every bone in my body. But yeah, she was like, no, you got yourself into this mess, you find a doctor. And I did. I ended up finding a doctor. I found a really, 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 really cool doctor that I very much like, and sadly she moved out of state, so I will not be seeing that doctor anymore in any future pregnancies, so that's sad. But so with that really amazing doctor, we scheduled an appointment for 2 weeks from that day that I found out. And I remember going to my husband's house afterwards with his parents, and that was like the first time that I had seen him since he told me that he told them. And they were just like, they kept asking me like, oh, do you want to go eat, do you want to go this, do you want that? And I was just like really shy about it. Like I didn't want to like overwhelm them with anything, so I was like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I remember they were like, who can we tell? And I was like, nobody. And they were like, well, you know, why can't we tell anybody, and we want to tell like this many people and this and that. And I was like, well, I don't know, like who you can tell and who you can't tell, because we wanted to wait to go to that appointment that was in 2 weeks. So I told them, wait for the 2-week appointment. Once that's in, then you guys can tell whoever you want. And I remember 2 weeks passed. We went to this appointment. It was me and my husband and my mom, and we were sitting in this room, and I remember my husband just starts bawling when they start doing the ultrasound, because pretty much we went into the what's called like doctor's office, doctor waiting room, whatever, and pretty much I was talking to the lady, like the secretary in the front, and it was just to confirm the pregnancy, because we didn't know if I was pregnant yet. All we had taken was a dollar store pregnancy test, so we were gonna confirm it. They were gonna do blood work, at least that's what we thought. But the doctor came in and she was like, yeah, you're pregnant, and just started doing an ultrasound, and we're like, she never confirmed it. She never took the blood test. She never took the urine test or anything. She just knew. And we're like, we're just weirded out by that. But she did. She just came in. She started doing the ultrasound. And she was like, yeah. She's like, you're about 8 weeks along. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, 8 weeks along. That's pretty good. Whatever. And I was like, wait, that's like 2 months. I'm 2 months along. And we barely like confirmed everything right now. But I guess that made sense, because we just kind of put it off for a really long time. She just came in the room and started doing this ultrasound, and I remember like turning to the side, because the ultrasound thingy was like on the side. I remember turning to the side and just looking at it and just being like, that's inside me, like that's a human, a living thing inside of me, and this is gonna, like, my life is gonna change. And I remember just really, really it being set into my head that I was pregnant when I seen that ultrasound. And then I turn over on this side where my husband's at, and he's bawling. And he's like, all he could tell me was, that's my baby. And that's it. And he was bawling, and I remember it was a moment of like realization that we were gonna have a family and that this was real. And I remember that's just when everything hit. And my mom was sitting next to my husband, and I remember as we were walking out, my mom just kept looking at him, and I was like, why does she keep looking at him? And little did I know, she told me that afterwards, that it was because she knew that he was going to be a good dad right from that moment when he started crying. She's like, I knew that he really loved you and he really loved the baby just right in that second. My mom also stayed with us one of the nights that we were in the hospital, and she also said that seeing the way he was taking care of her, like just as a newborn, she really confirmed that like he was gonna be a good dad. Like she knew it in her heart. So that's one of the things that made her like less stressed out my pregnancy. So yeah, that was pretty nice. And so yeah, after that we took the ultrasound pictures and we took them to my husband's house to show his parents, and that same day we showed him the ultrasound pictures. And I think at this time most of his siblings knew, so we didn't tell them. Like they already knew. We didn't have to tell them. Pretty much everybody who knew was our siblings and our parents, and that was it. But my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, as soon as they saw those ultrasound pictures, they started calling family members like crazy, like, oh, blah, 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 this and this is pregnant. And at the time, my brother-in-law was also having a kid. So I remember my father-in-law called his mom, my husband's grandma, and he called and he was like, I'm having a grandbaby. And she was like, wait, I thought you already told me this news. Like, this is old news. Why are you calling me to tell me this again? And he's like, no, I'm having 2 grandbabies. And yeah, it was crazy because it was 2 of us having kids at the same time. So also that's why you see our kids. Our kids are Olivia and Vaughn, and you guys will probably see them on our vlogs. They're like literal twins. They're 3 weeks apart and they do everything together. So you guys probably see them on the vlog a lot. So yeah, there's that. Also, yeah, they just started calling people like crazy about us being pregnant, which was cool but also weird because I wasn't that excited for it. Like, I was excited because it was a kid and it was gonna be a family, and all that realization had literally just hit me. Like, the doctor's office was probably 10 minutes away from his house. So after that ultrasound, we got the ultrasound pictures, we drove to the house in like 15 minutes, and all of that happened in like under half an hour. So I was like overwhelmed with everything that was going on. But it was cool to have such an amazing support system and just know that everybody around us was excited, even if we were still processing it. So yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, now to get into what happened afterwards, like later on in my pregnancy, and then also, actually, I'm going to tell you guys what happened, like me in school, and then me like later pregnancy delivery time. So yeah, let's get into that. So I also want to talk to you guys about me and being pregnant in school. So I started off, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of details. So I was in school from the time I was 3 months pregnant, because that's when I got pregnant during the summer, and that's when school started. So I was 3 months pregnant till I was 6 months pregnant, and then when I was 7 till I gave birth, I did online school. So I was really only in actual school from 3 months to 6 months. So it was only 3 very long, very weird months of school. So I did those 3 months of school, and I thought that I looked really, really huge, and that everybody must have known that I was pregnant. And come to find out, when I was 6 months pregnant, nobody knew that I was pregnant. And then, like I said, I went to online school as soon as I turned like 7 months pregnant. So I was only in school for like probably less than a month, where like everybody knew that I was pregnant. So school wasn't really a bother. I think only my teachers really knew that I was pregnant, and because of that, I got away with a lot of stuff. Like, I could miss a lot of days from school because I had a lot of appointments and just stuff like that. And I didn't have to use like the hall passes to go to the restroom. Like, I can walk out of class and just go. So that was really cool. But yeah, I thought a lot of people would know. I'm going to insert a picture right here of what I looked like when I was 3 months pregnant when I started school, because I thought I looked huge and that everybody was going to know that I was pregnant, but no one did. And then I'm also going to insert a picture right here of when I was 6 months pregnant, because that's when people really started to know. So yeah, I also felt like I looked really huge both times, but I guess no one knew. Okay, so school wasn't really a problem for me. I think it was mostly like after school that was a problem. So like months 7, 8, and 9 were like really, really hard for me. And 10. People don't acknowledge that you're pregnant for 40 weeks, which is actually equivalent to 10 months, not 9 months. So yeah, just so you guys know. But yeah, so months 7, 8, 9, and 10, and a little bit more than 10 for me because I was overdue. But yeah, those like last like 3-4 months were just so excruciating. I just started getting big really, really fast, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I wasn't going to school, so I wasn't walking around, I wasn't doing anything physical anymore. I was just staying at home, laying in bed, eating, snacking, you know. Those were months that really affected me, because it was not only like my health, but also the baby's health. Also, I was getting big. Like, the last 3 months are miserable regardless. And then on top of that, I was just not taking care of myself. So I gained a lot of weight in those last few months, which I was told that was fine or whatever up until like I think I was like 8 months. Then my doctor was like, whoa, chill out, you're gaining way too much weight. And I remember she kind of put me on like a little diet, and I just had to eat like, I don't know, it was like 400 less calories a day or something like that. Just because you're only supposed to, people always say you're eating for two. You're not eating for two. You're eating for yourself, and you're eating about 300 to 500 more calories for your child a day, which people go on a freaking rampage and like 2 cheeseburgers, 1 for me, 1 for the baby. Not how it's supposed to be. So also take that piece of advice. I didn't take that piece of advice, and I ate for me and for the baby, and that sucked. Afterwards, I had to deal with trying to lose all that weight afterwards. And I'm barely 2 years after I had my daughter. I'm 18 now. I'm going to be 19 in September. And 2 years after I had my daughter, I'm still trying to lose all that weight off. I'm very close to there, so I'm very proud of myself. But still, just, it was crazy because I didn't take care of myself those last 3 months. So that's my best piece of advice for those few months. And then we had my delivery, and I've actually done a delivery video here on YouTube. I might update that one as well, but you guys are free to check that out. Just because I had a very vigorous, very strange labor. I was just in so much freaking pain the entire time. And a little spoiler alert for that video, my epidural fell out, which sounds crazy. Pretty sure all of you guys are like, all of you guys that are watching that are pregnant, that are, you know, planning for your delivery, are thinking, oh, I'm gonna get the epidural and I'm not gonna feel anything and it's gonna be okay. Lies. At least for me, that was lies. I went in, I told them I wanted the epidural. About 30 minutes after my water broke, because my water hadn't broke until I went to the hospital already. I just had really bad contractions. The baby stopped moving, and I called my doctor, and they were like, yeah, go, because if you're not feeling the baby's getting ready to go into the canal, the birth canal, and that's why they're not moving. So you gotta check that they're okay, and you're probably gonna go into labor sometime soon, so go to the hospital. And I went to the hospital, and yeah, they confirmed all of that, and they were like, we have to wait till your water breaks to put the epidural in. So I had to wait for like 3 hours ish, and then my water finally broke. It was crazy. Also, I talk about that story about how my water broke in that video also. But yeah, I was shook. The nurses were shook. But yeah, they came in and they were like, okay, we can do your epidural now. They did it. It was just me and my husband in the room because nobody else could be there at the time. Just us two when they were doing the epidural. The rest of the time I could have whoever I wanted in there. But nobody was allowed to be in there except for me and my husband when we were doing the epidural. And they ended up doing it. And I slept good for like a few hours. It's probably like, I don't know, like 4 in the morning at the time, and I slept until like maybe 6, so like maybe a couple hours, maybe 3 hours tops I slept, and I slept pretty good with the epidural. And then I woke up because I was in so much freaking pain, and I kept telling them I was like, I'm in pain, like, can you guys do anything about it? And they were like, no, we can like up the dose of the epidural. So they upped the dose of the epidural, and it did absolutely nothing. And then it was time to push. At like 10 o'clock, it was time to start pushing. I pushed for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So that was wild, really, because I pushed for 2 freaking hours. I had no epidural. But yeah, I had no epidural because it fell out. They ended up finding out that it had tugged out from behind me, which I don't know how they effed up so bad at, like, they had like this big old long strip of really clear tape from like my neck to my back, and I don't know how or when, but they messed up and it was able to come out. And yeah, but I ended up having a natural birth because of that, and I'm very thankful because of that. I don't think I would have done that if I wasn't pressured into doing that. And now for future reference, I think I would like to do a natural birth because it wasn't so hard. So yeah. Also, this is Libby. This is my baby that I was pregnant with when I was 15. And she's just so pretty, and she just looks so messy right now, huh? You just look so messy because all you do is eat snacks all day long. Let me see. Ew, don't show them your snacks. Okay, guys, so now to talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like after that. So I really think that being a teen mom kind of shaped me into being the human being that I am today. I'm very happy and very grateful for the life that I have. I own my own baking business now. I have YouTube, and I feel very successful even though I'm not super successful. Like, I know this channel is small. I know that my business is small, but it's my business. This is my YouTube. I feel successful and I feel happy, and I feel like having a kid didn't hold me back at all. I'm also just very happy, and I really just kind of like recently just kind of like try to get my life together even more and just take care of my health, and you know, just do stuff that were right for me and that made me a better person. And so yeah, that's what my life update is now, and I really hope you guys liked this video, and if you guys did, be sure to give it a like and a comment and a thumbs up, all that fun stuff. So thank you.